Have you ever heard of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights?
I have not.
So have you ever heard of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights?
No.
No, I haven't. I'm sorry.
You sure?
I'm positive. I've never heard of it.
Day 2.
Have you ever heard of the Declaration of Human Rights?
Nope.
The Universal Declaration of Human Rights.
Like with the UN?
Yes, with the UN.
I guess it rings a bell, but I don't have it memorized, or I couldn't tell you about it.
You don't know what it's about?
Was it just how people should be treated? Does it have to do with, what are they called? People that are taken, like during wars, like POWs? Or...
Oh, yes, that's a part of it.
That's a part of it? Okay.
What is something else you think should be a part of it?
How to treat their citizens?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Totally.
Okay.
Good, you're smart. You ever heard of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights?
I have not.
What do you know about human rights? What do you think would be in this document?
I know the Bill of Rights, but I think everyone should be treated equally. No,
Yeah.
based off of prior, race, age, or...
So this is a universal declaration, which means it's worldwide, global, which is interesting because you've been to a few countries. You can mention just a few that you've been to in the past year or so.
Yeah, I've been to Dubai, United Arab Emirates, Thailand, Ireland, and Ecuador.
And therefore you've been immersed in a few cultures. So is there anything that you've seen that makes you think that there are certain rights that should be included in this document?
Yeah, well, I think of one man. There was a guy that worked, that cleaned at a hostel we stayed at in Ecuador. He got paid $100 a month and worked 6 days a week, 8 hours a day. And so there was no unit wage for him. It was just kind of like you have to make sure the hostel's clean every day and work. And he was almost 80 years old and pretty much had decided that he just had to work until he passed away. And so, there was no way for him to, if he gets injured or something, there's no way for him to make a living. I don't know, so some way to ensure financial equality or rights. I'm not really sure.
There actually is an article about work. Would you believe me if I told you that there is a right about paid vacations?
I don't think he had paid vacations.
Yeah, I don't think he probably would either. Alright, thanks so much.
What do you think of when you hear the words human rights?
Well, I think of equal treatment of every person's women, men, and children. And yeah.
I guess I think of the basic idea that people are human in the sense that they are beings with their own thoughts, feelings, and opinions. They're autonomous, intellectual beings rather than cattle that you can corral and force into certain roles that you make them perform. Basically, they're people, not objects, is what I'd say.
Do you know of an instance where there has been a violation of human rights?
Yeah, surprisingly in the school systems here, they violate the freedom of expression. In my middle school, we were forced to not speak in the hallway when we were transitioning from classes, and we were penalized for saying something. And that's actually a violation of human rights because we have the right to speak.
Do you know of an instance where there has been a violation of human rights?
A very specific instance, I probably couldn't tell you in accurate detail, but I'm fairly certain during the big initial protests at Ferguson, I'm sure the American government committed some kind of violation with all that. And then there are other countries with oppressive regimes, kind of like North Korea, because I know everybody just kind of makes fun of North Korea and they're like, oh ho ho, Kim Jong-un, but in reality it's kind of a terrible place to live. But yeah.
So if you could create the 31st article, what would it be and why?
I think one of the most important things that centers our human rights and development, not only in the United States but also abroad, is the equal access to agriculture. One of the biggest problems in agriculture currently is gender issues and gender roles, and how it affects the implementation and the organization of agricultural systems.